guess I'm kind of the amuse-bouche between the big checks and the next panel, which is very smart. At least a couple people got that joke. My name is Mark Hansen, and I'm very pleased to be here today. By way of context, my background is in statistics. I joined the journalism school 5 years ago and serve both as professor and director of the David and Helen Gurley Brown Institute for Media Innovation. The institute represents a significant, sustained collaboration between engineering and journalism, between technology and story. During our 5 years, we've learned so much about how journalistic innovation happens. Most of my time has been spent balancing our two constituencies. Toward that end, we start with the idea that journalism and technology take similar kinds of actions in the world. Both tell stories about who we are and how we live. The work of journalists is more obvious, perhaps, but in a similar way, that new app tells us about our lives, makes us feel modern or hopeful or concerned or moved to action. In a very real sense, most of what I do at Brown is create the social, cultural, political, and technical mechanisms to foster new forms of journalism, telling new stories or building new platforms, each infused with the values and ethics of journalism. We're happy with projects that involve deep, specialized, single-purpose innovations in service of a particular story. Projects include a VR documentary on the famine in South Sudan, the role of offline networking in Cuba, to drag culture and the complicated notions of identity that emerge when it finds expressions on social networks. There's no sense of engineering journalism or engineering generalization here, and instead our success is measured by our ability to change the very idea of what we think a story might be. On the other hand, we're happy with new platforms that help us find and tell broad new categories of stories. From an open data portal for Panama to an alerting infrastructure that has taken root in the markets of Dhaka to report food adulteration, to a social media mining application that produces a real-time cultural map of the city. To support all this, we lead workshops, hold seminars, run design sprints, and hack events. Interdisciplinarity is the key. But I'm here today not to talk about Brown per se. Instead, Chris, Dave, and Richard asked if I would present my recent work as a professor or as an educator. My training is in computational statistics with just enough theory to be credible. I'm not, however, a journalist, and every day I walk into Pulitzer Hall, I am reminded of that fact. I will never have the decades of experience my colleagues have, and prior to joining the J School, my idea of holding power to account involved type 2 errors. That was a stat joke. Come on now. But every day I take inspiration from the words of Pulitzer himself. In writing about his College of Journalism, this college, Columbia's School of Journalism, he advocated the teaching of statistics and data. In an article in 1904, he wrote, "Everybody says statistics should be taught, but how? Statistics are not simply figures. It's said that nothing lies like figures except facts. You want statistics to tell you the truth. You can find truth there if you know how to get at it, and, importantly, romance, human interest, humor, and fascinating revelations of all kinds." Pulitzer saw the incredible expressive power of data, the fact that data and its systems of collection and analysis are objects to be probed. They are reflections of our culture, our lives, and so, following Pulitzer, but heading in directions he could not have imagined, my role in the School of Journalism, through Brown and in the classroom, has been to introduce computation to journalism. But what does it mean for journalism to be computational? Over the past few decades, computers have become part of our everyday lives. They regulate and shape our interactions with the physical and virtual worlds. Organizations increasingly equate data release with transparency, though not without some problems. Sensing, light, sound, air quality, is cheap and plentiful and easily deployed by the general public. Our actions online generate vast quantities of digital data. In all of this, we can find new ways to ask questions about the world, how it's organized, and how it functions. But the keys to this new digitized kingdom are data, code, and algorithms. The curiosity, that questioning spirit our journalists develop in their first reporting classes, finds an outlet in new and unexpected ways, mediated by data, code, and algorithms. Hence, computational journalism. It's simply a response to our new condition of living in a computational society.